There we
Round
are.
two.
That is it. Round two. Welcome, everybody. I'm Russ Kane, what's left of him. And that handsome dude on the left is Ollie Mammon
Hey
of
guys.
the Tincture Club and the leading expert in all things CBD. Last week, Ollie, you caused a freaking sensation. Everybody loved you because I'm kind of used to you over the months we've been working towards this. And other people went, oh my God, his passion, his knowledge. It's very exciting.
So
Thank you for
here,
being thank you
go
for
on.
being part of Men's Radio. Really appreciate it.
No, thank you so much for the opportunity. And like last week was a little bit of a whirlwind. I'll be honest with you. After the show, someone said to me, "How did it go?" And I was like, "I have no idea. I need to rewatch the show." It just literally like the whole thing just went like a flash. So
Well,
I've
that's
actually
good, isn't it?
Yeah, we covered a lot last week, but very, very, very briefly. And I'm really looking forward to expanding over the next few months. And I'm overwhelmed at the amount of people who kind of listened over the last 7 days.
Yeah.
I mean,
There's people who were
incredible.
contacting. There was people contacting me from Santa Monica earlier in the day saying, "What time's this on? We want to watch it."
It's incredible.
So, Gloria, if you're watching, fantastic.
I really can't.
This is your show. This is your show. I'm just the conduit. So it's your agenda. Off you go, fella.
Perfect. So last week was very much all about me. I was very much I want to call it my self-centered rant on who I am and what I do. Actually, I had to write a list of everything we discussed last week, and I've got it here because it was just so much. So we discussed, all cannabinoids having their purpose. We discussed, what you can get from this show. We discussed, cannabis oil being a misused term, and the broadness of the term needs to be more specified, which we're going to expand upon a little bit today. We were talking about how the cannabis oil market needs to be seen a little bit like the pharmaceutical market, which we'll expand upon a little bit today in terms of its broadness and its understanding of products for purpose and products for ailment. It's not a one-trick pony for everything. It's a little bit more specific and a little bit more personal. I think that's the word, personal. So we discussed that last week. We touched upon a concept of know your drops and know your product, which I mentioned a few times, which we're going to get into more detail today. The vanity versus sanity of the market, which we're also going to try and touch on more. Recognizing milligrams, we did that last week, but we're going to expand on that. Cannabinoid receptors, which we're going to expand on. Certificates of analysis, which we're going to do in a few weeks' time, and then novel foods, which I know has been this ongoing concept, which I've received a few messages regarding that. I've got a couple of awesome experts in about 4 weeks' time. They're going to come and we're going to literally tear this apart in terms of novel food, because I understand that's a massive issue. And I don't, like, me personally, compliance is not my skill. Compliance is not what I do best. Speaking from the heart and soul and designing products, that's what I do best. And the fact of the matter is compliance and soul don't go together. So I mean, it's
explain that, Ollie. What does that mean?
Well, compliance is following the rules,
of
and
course.
soul is following your heart. And very often when you follow your heart and you're doing everything based on emotion and feeling, the rules don't really come into play. So as you'll see, I'm going to get into the topic of the day is basically understanding yourself and understanding products. And when I get into describing how I design a product, you'll understand exactly that it's pure soul that goes into it. And that's why very often I'll be like, look, I'm not sure if this is going to work, but I feel it will. That's the way I create a product. There's emotion attached to it, but once again, that's something we're going to expand on today. The main point of today, all right, the main thing I want to do is focus on you. So last week, everyone gave me so much praise by listening. Today, it's all about you, the listeners, and it's all about giving you your first few steps in the direction to finding what you actually need. So there's a lot of scientific jargon which surrounds this industry. And what happens is this scientific jargon is used in order to make brands like us look super advanced. But the problem is this advanced terminology and this advanced technological phrasing of random things leaves users in the dark. So what happens is we'll create this term, like your endocannabinoid system has never seen a drop which is so bioavailable. And people are like, what does that mean?
What?
Exactly. So these are all terms which are used.
It's a foreign language, isn't it? It's a foreign language.
It is, and it's not fair, because what happens is we as manufacturers lean on the scientific world, okay? And you as users lean on us. So if we're not translating what the product means to you, then you're still left in the dark. So the aim of today is to kind of create more understanding. I've actually got the word written at the top of my page that sums up the word today, is the word understanding. So hopefully we get it all done today. If not, I've actually compiled 3 episodes. So either today, next week, the week after, or just today and next week. But that's the main plan. All right. Might as well say it. Show sponsored by the Tincture Club. You've got a little QR code in the bottom left-hand corner.
Left,
is that there right?
Bottom left.
Do they see the opposite than what we see?
I love this. No, if you're looking at your screen now, wherever you are in the world, the QR code, that is the little square thing that looks like a Jackson Pollock painting, is in the bottom left.
Abstract expressionism. No, pointillism. Pointillism, right? Jackson Pollock is pointer or abstract expressionism.
Who knows? I wish I had one. Then we could all retire. Who knows? Anyway,
it is what you had one of those, we could all retire. Exactly. I wouldn't start.
You ain't joking. You ain't joking, boy. God damn.
So yeah, so Tincture Club's our sponsor. All right. Last week I actually made a disclaimer, and I was advised to kind of do that again. All right. I'm not a doctor, okay, and I'm not a scientist. My name's Ollie. All right. I design CBD products. My company's called Taylor Mammon. We're leading manufacturers in this industry, and my job is to manufacture products that actually work. I originally was a patient. I don't know if any of you saw last week, but I mean, you know, for those who haven't, I suffer from Tourette syndrome, and I kind of started on this journey trying to find myself a product. And over the last 7 years, I had to create my own understanding, which now I'm trying to share with you. So it's very important you guys know that I'm not a doctor, and you know that I can't actually give you medicinal advice. And anything I do say is a hypothesis. It's a guess, you know, like I'm guessing that this will work for you, but I'm not 100% sure. And like I tell
but Ollie, it's an educated guess.
An educated guess, exactly.
That's an important thing to take away. It's an educated guess by someone who really knows what he's doing. It's not some fly-by-night nonsense.
But the issue is, a lot of the time in our lives, a lot of the time in our lives, and a lot of time in this industry, a lot of people want to be guided fully. And unfortunately, cannabinoids are very personal. So for example, I'm going to use the example of Russ and his sleep drops, which we talked about last week as well. Okay. Russ, you know, Russ and his drops, it's personal to him. So if you were to take the same drops, might need less, or you might need more. So it's not fair for me to say, take a couple of drops. And it's not fair for me to say, you only need this. And that's why we're not going to be making those, you know, recommendations to anyone. We're just going to try and, you know, fill your head with the education which you need in order to kind of find your product.
And the good point you made an excellent point last week, and I want to reiterate it this week as well, because it's not like you pop into your local Boots and you think, oh, I need some headache. I'll get headaches, or I'll get Anodin, or I'll get, you know, Nurofen. It's not that, and because that'll work for kind of everybody. But what Ollie is saying, and please correct me if I get this screwed up, it's, you know, it's not one size fits all. It's personalized. It's like it's personalized.
Especially in today's market. So if you were to go back 5 years and you were to find, which would have been rare, an accurate, consistent, reliable product, the chances are it would have been more simple than the products now. The issue is now, in this oversaturated market, everyone's looking for a point of difference. So everyone's creating these products with a generic purpose in mind, okay, whether it's for sleep or for this or for that, but they're not pushing that. So you'll get a CBD and magnesium drop. Now, if you're using magnesium stearate, all right, it's good for cramps. If you're using magnesium glycinate, it's good for sleep. So what sort of magnesium's in that tincture? Is it a post-sport recovery tincture or a sleep tincture? And the problem is, a lot of the users out there are left in the dark. So most products now are made specialized. You know, if you look at the new ranges, which all of these big brands are bringing to market, they all have added ingredients. And that's something which we're also going to get onto today, is understanding what added ingredients are actually right for you. You know, everyone talks about...
I'm going to jump in because I'm going to surprise you. Because listening right now, we've got Canada listening and watching right now. We've got Santa Monica, California listening right now. We've got Germany, Hamburg listening right now. It's quite extra, and we've got people in France listening. So if you think this is some little sort of ham radio thing, it's sensational, and it's very exciting.
Can I say something, Russ? You're listening really funny.
It's your show. Of course you are.
So Ben Gershny, okay? Ben Gershny is like one of my closest mates. He lives out in Canada. I'll be honest with you, I really miss him. Like I miss not having him in the UK. But you know Ben. So you met Ben a few times when, like, I spoke to him last week, and it was like apparently he met you at several like movie premieres and stuff over the last few years. And he said, he goes, "You were always so lovely." And I was like, "That's really weird because Russ is always so mean to me." But it was a nice little.
I have to keep you in check.
He said, he goes like, it's really lovely, like that he said it's quite lovely to see us together. He would have never thought when he met you 5 years ago, 6 years ago, that we would end up having a show together. So apparently I've done quite well for myself, so
hey, good for you.
But I wanted to bring that up because if you get offered movie tickets, can I be your date? And we could go to premieres together.
Well, I don't want people talking about us, but occasionally you can be my plus one. You can be my plus one at the moment because my plus one won't go anywhere because of COVID. So that's quite right. So until this all goes away and we're safe again, okay, you can be my plus one. Perfect. And I must just say a special hello to Gloria Miller, who is watching and listening to you, and she asked me how to get hold of this all the way in Santa Monica. Stay safe. Hope you're well. Okay.
Thank you so much. Really, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm really flattered. So let's get on with it. So basically, I've kind of given my introduction. Let's just start. Have you ever heard the term endocannabinoid system? So endocannabinoid system is it's a real thing. Okay, your endocannabinoid system is a series of receptors located across your body. These are the cannabinoid receptors, which I mentioned last week, the CB1, the CB2, and the CB3 receptors. Now, this series of receptors, okay, this network of receptors is known as your endocannabinoid system, and it synthesizes and modulates and regulates and controls the distribution of cannabinoids across your body and helps maintain homeostasis. So homeostasis is that balance. So when your body is running at optimum functionality, you are running at homeostasis. All of this scientific jargon, though, doesn't help you as an end user. So the problem is you go onto any website out there and you'll read, like CBD is fantastic for balancing homeostasis and CBD is fantastic for, maintaining the endocannabinoid system. But that doesn't mean anything to you. So what we're going to do is we're going to take all of that information and just throw it to the side. Because right now, I need you to actually know what you need to know. And I don't need you to know scientific stuff, which is just going to confuzzle you, confuse and puzzle you simultaneously, which therefore leaves you on the other end of this screen not really know what's going on.
Confuzzle.
I love that word.
That's good. Okay. You just made it up. I love it.
So the endocannabinoid system, like I said, it's this series of receptors located across your body. Now, whenever you go on a journey and you go on, let's say you're about to get in your car, all right, you either know where you're going, in which you know where you're going, or you check out a map, you look at ways, you ask for direction. Now, the whole point, the same thing applies with cannabinoids, with CBD. The endocannabinoid system enables you to kind of understand where your issues might be stemming from and where you may be able to kind of target them. So what I'm trying to do is I'm going to throw away the scientific jargon and bring in something which is a bit more understandable, a bit more tangible, something you can actually see, something which, please God, you can actually feel, something which could actually make a difference to you. Okay. And that's kind of what I'm going to try and do over the course of this episode. I'm really going to try to not make metaphors because I tried to write a few metaphors and every single one ended up confusing me. So I'm going to try and stick to the point so I don't confuse anyone. Okay. All right. So most of the time, what happens is you're walking to a shop and they'll be like, oh, you have endocannabinoid deficiency. All right. Which means that you're missing something. The general feeling is you have a deficiency, you have an ailment, you feel something is wrong. All right. So let's move away from the scientific jargon of someone telling you that there's an issue. And let's go on to feelings that you feel. You feel you have pain in your back. You feel like you have pain in your bones. You feel like your muscles go into cramp. You feel like you can't sleep at night. Or with me, I feel like I'm constantly running at 1,000 miles an hour. I feel like my brain skips 10 paces ahead and I feel like I need to claw myself back. These are all things which I feel. So when they're removed, I can also feel that they're not there. And this is what I want you guys to do. I want you guys to start looking at this roadmap and I want you guys to start feeling, because that's what's going to enable you to actually find a product that works. It's not what I say and it's not what the doctor says and it's not what the dude in the shop says. It's about you. An example, I had a buddy who came to see me yesterday, similar to Russ. He has sleep issues. He went into a shop, bought a CBD product for sleep. What he was sold was something which is not for sleep. Okay, he was sold something which had other compounds in it which were much more uplifting. What happened is he was told to take 2 drops before sleep. Now, 2 drops of what he was taking in this bottle worked out to about 3.5 milligrams. It was like 1.6 milligrams a drop. I think it was 1,000 milligrams in a 30 ml bottle. 1.6 milligrams a drop. In this, okay, he so with this tincture, he had no satisfaction from CBD, so he's automatically a CBD non-believer now. Yesterday, I saw him. He came round. He was like, "I'm still having trouble sleeping." I was like, "What do you think I need to do?" And I was like, "Honestly, I don't know. You've tried CBD. How much did you take?" He said, "I took 2 drops." I said, "Of what?" He said, "Of this product." Showed me a picture of something similar to what he took. And I was like, "Cool, try this." I gave him a bottle of the Tincture Club. And I said, "Try 6 drops in the morning and 14 drops before bed." And he said, 14? "Well, that's quite 14." The Tincture Club works out about 5 milligrams a drop. So 14 drops is about 14 times 5, 70 milligrams. So it's about 70 milligrams. Now, considering I told you to take 5 drops of your tincture, 5 drops of your tincture equates to the same level. 5 drops of your tincture was 15 milligrams a drop. 5 times 15 is 75. I asked him to take 70. He called me up this morning. He says, "How do I know it's working?" I said, "Well, did you sleep last night?" He says, "Well, my problem is not that I can't sleep. It's the fact that I wake up." So I said, "Did you wake up last night?" And he says, "No." And I said, "Well, therefore it's working." Do you know what I mean? Because it's not, and he wants me to turn around and tell him, "You're cured, you're fixed." It's not about me. I'm not going through this, to be honest with you. You know, like, it's not for me to say that you are cured or you are not cured. It's not for me to say that, you know, the issue's not going to come back. You might need to up your dose. You might need to lower your dose. You might need to take more. You might need to take more over the course of the day. But he was really looking for me to tell him that everything was all right. And that's because we live in this culture where you go to a doctor and the doctor tells you that everything's fine. Or you go to your mate and your mate says, "Do this." So you do it. You know, we don't live in a culture where we're self-reliant. And unfortunately, with cannabinoids, we have to be, because all of our feelings are individual. Fibromyalgia is a very, very, very broad term. There are people who suffer with fibromyalgia who are in pain 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and can't get out of bed. And there are people who suffer with fibromyalgia who are in pain 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, but they go running and they go jogging and they do this and they do that. They have that pain, but it's not as bad as the debilitating pain other people feel. Who's to say that 15 drops is right for fibromyalgia? Because fibromyalgia is broad. The same with arthritis. You have psoriatic arthritis, you have osteoarthritis, you have rheumatoid arthritis, but arthritis is very often by cannabinoid companies grouped as one topic, is grouped as one subject. And what happens is you as an individual thinking you have arthritis, you think that, you know what, this is what I need. But actually, you don't. You need something completely different. And what I'm trying to do for you is I'm trying to get you to understand yourself. Like I always say, is that I'm teaching a man to fish, teaching a woman to fish, teaching a person to fish. I corrected myself there because I realized you can't say things nowadays.
God forbid.
God forbid. God forbid. So teach them to fish, and they will never have to. Here we go. Teach them to fish, and they will never have to buy a fish again. Same thing. If I teach you guys to fish, you'll never have to go fishing ever again to find something that works for you. You'll maybe you need to go fish. You understand what I'm trying to say? There's logic behind that. I said no metaphors, and then I make a metaphor. It's so stupid. So what happens is so you need to kind of you need to let me know. You need to let yourself know what you need, and it's all about feeling. You know, with me, with my issues, I'm in tune with my issues. You know, like, I want to say maybe 12 months ago, I was going through quite a bad place, and I actually did some hypnotherapy. All right. You know, like, I had to do it. My mind was over consuming me. My OCD was going through the roof. I've got this incredible hypnotherapist. I'm going to say her name. She's incredible. Her name's Nicole Mazzucato. Okay. I know her as Nicole Broder, but now she's got married and her name's Nicole Mazzucato. And she's incredible. She's like literally the most amazing.
How many times a day do you think she has to spell that name?
I literally, I'll be honest with you, if someone asked me to spell it, I couldn't spell it.
Can you imagine? Can you
my dyslexia won't let me do that. But
no,
she is incredible. She's incredible. And I felt that I needed something, and I went out there and found what I needed for myself. Okay, it's very important, especially if you suffer with mental health or with pain. It's important that you know that you're in the driver's seat, because the guy behind the shop doesn't know what you're feeling. The doctor in the office doesn't know what you're feeling. Your friend who's going through exactly the same thing as you doesn't know what you're actually feeling. And what we're trying to do now is create that understanding for you. Okay? So back onto this endocannabinoid system, which I mentioned, it modulates and regulates everything. You have this series of receptors located across your body. And it's very important you understand them, because understanding the receptors and understanding where they're located will also enable you to understand your body and your issue. So with me, my issues are all CB1 related issues. They're all in my mind. So whenever I need to target my issues, I have to target my CB1 receptors. If I'm not targeting my CB1 receptors, I do not get any, satisfaction from my cannabinoid dose, you could say. So there are people out there who suffer from CB2 issues. But let's go back to what CB1 and CB2 refers to. So your CB1 receptors are located mainly in your brain and your central nervous system. Okay, so you have your brain and your central nervous system. So if you have any nerve-related issues, or if you have any mental-related issues, post-traumatic stress disorder, insomnia, anxiety, anything which is related to your mind, then you need to target your CB1 receptors, which means you need to be taking products like vapes or tongue drops or edibles, or my new trick is direct application to my belly button. If anyone's ever not done that,
slowly, whoa, back it up there. You do drops into your. Walk me through this.
Okay, fine. So I didn't actually want to get into this. I just dropped it.
Well, no, you can't.
Super important.
We can't walk by that. That's everyone will be going, what?
So this is once again completely theoretical, but it seems to work for me. And I keep on searching for research out there, and I can't really seem to find anything which isn't, hocus pocus voodoo. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Now, what happens is if you think about when you're constructed inside of the womb, you start as an umbilical cord. That's where you start from, which goes straight into your belly button, and then you grow from there. So if you think about, Chinese medicine, or you think about, this nerve ending studies, they say all your nerve endings are in your ears, all your nerve endings are in the soles of your feet. You have nerve endings in the palms of your hands. Now, what I found with a lot of people, okay, is the belly button is literally the best application on the planet. You take 2 or 3 drops, especially of a high dose CBD product. You apply it directly to your belly button. I take 1 drop 5 times a day when I'm in my mood. But what happens is I find that it targets CB1 receptors, and it targets nerve endings, the central nervous system.
That is
straight
extraordinary,
away.
Ollie.
It's incredible. And some of the feedback I've had, I've had, there's this girl called Becky. Okay, now Becky's incredible. She's an incredible girl, and Becky literally says that she gets tingling back where she had dead spots. She had dead spots across her body, and she uses a belly button balm I made her, and she says that she's getting feeling back. Now, I don't know if it's just her, but once again, I have to urge people to try this. There's this misconception that a product is a single standing product. So what happens is tongue drops are sold as tongue drops. Yep. But if you're buying a tongue drop, which is just hemp oil and CBD, or coconut oil and CBD, no flavorings, no added ingredients, no sweeteners, no preservatives, it's not just a tongue drop. It's a CBD oil. Now, that CBD oil can be applied topically directly to your skin. It can be applied in your mouth. It could be added to food. You can add it to a cosmetic. If you use, let's say you have your favorite argan oil, skin oil cosmetic thing, you can take 1 or 2 drops of, let's say, the Tincture Club. 2 drops would be 10 milligrams. Take a pea-sized amount of your favorite cosmetic, and you have the best CBD product on the planet. Why? Because you have a mathematically accurate CBD dose, and you have a well-formulated product, which enables you to kind of get the best of both worlds. There's this misconception that an individual needs to walk into a shop and buy 1,000 products. They don't. All you need to do is buy one, and then the multi-purpose application of that product is sensational. Another thing is everyone always goes based on what they're told. I've heard some crazy things where everyone gets told to buy tongue drops. Arthritis patients buy tongue drops. Fibromyalgia patients buy tongue drops. Chronic pain sufferers buy tongue drops. But tongue drops are not the be all or end all, especially if you're buying a tongue drop which isn't necessarily strong in taste and not multi-purpose. It kind of leaves you with a single product, with a single solution, which if it doesn't work, you're left in the dark. Whereas what we're trying to do is make people understand that the versatility of a product like the Tincture Club, or the versatility of a simple product, is far greater than what's available on the marketplace. Most products on the marketplace have a specific direction. They have a purpose in mind. Like most of the products we design, they have a purpose in mind. But you might not, like you might want to be a bit more in control of your own application. And products like tongue drops, which are just coconut oil, NMCT, hemp oil, NMCT, black seed oil, NMCT, can be used in terms of a multi-purpose product. And it's super important.
So really, it's if you walk into, I don't know, I'm making this up, a Holland and Barrett or something.
Shouldn't promote them. Don't promote Holland and Barrett. If you walk into Only Green in Bristol.
No, this is my point. Let's say you walk into a generic store that is a, quotes, health food.
By the way, guys, I hate Holland and Barrett. Don't buy any CBD product from Holland and Barrett. We're stocked in Holland and Barrett. Don't go there. I'm allowed to say that on my show. Am I? Am I not allowed to say that?
You can say you don't like them, but you can't say they're no good.
Why not?
Because that's the law.
Oh, so you know what? Actually, I'm really sorry, Holland and Barrett. Please don't sue me. You guys are absolutely great.
We've got no money. Okay. They won't. Well, the point I was trying to make, let's forget that it's Holland and Barrett. Let's just say you go to the Alexis Ward, the Timmy Ward stores, health stores, right? And Timmy Ward says, "Oh, well, here's your price." It's not one size fits all. I think that's the main thing you're trying to say. It might work for some people. It won't work for everybody because it's not tailor-made. That's what I'm getting from this. This is what I'm getting from it.
And it's also very important that you realize that you're not limited to the instructions you've been given. So very often we're used to this culture to be given a pack of pills and say, take one a day, 3 times a day. You're terrified to take more, which I completely understand. It's a pharmaceutical product. However, there are thousands of people across the face of the earth, if not millions of people across the face of the earth, who are managing their own dose day to day of cannabinoid products. And that's what they're doing. They're going out there and they know for that I need 100 milligrams. I need 150 milligrams. No shop owner will ever tell you to take that. But that's maybe what you need. I'm not telling you to take 150 milligrams. But I'm saying if CBD is not working for you at 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100, 120, 130, try 150. Before you say CBD doesn't work for me, try 150. I've got people I know who take 200 milligrams a day. They're serious sufferers, and they found that's their sweet spot. It's not promoted, but I mean, if that helps them, I would say that's better than taking opioids. At least they found something which enables them to function.
Anything is better than taking opioids.
And it's like what happens is us as manufacturers are kind of left in this position where our job is to manufacture. Our job is to create, our job is to produce. But what happens is you guys are left in the dark, not knowing what we've actually produced and why. I've got a story behind every single product I've ever created. None of you know that story. And what happens is you need to know that story. So what I would love to do is kind of carry on about this, like receptors and understanding a little bit more. Yeah, fine. So you have the CB1 receptors in your brain and your central nervous system. I talked about the belly button application, all that. You have CB2 receptors, which are located across your immune system and muscular system. All right. So let's say if you're doing something for immune balance, you're doing something for, to get over an illness, you're doing something to lower immune function because you're sick and you don't want something called a cytokine storm. I actually mentioned this on the little 30-minute segment you gave me back in April. So there was a lot of research to show that during COVID, a lot of people were not dying of COVID. They're dying of something called a cytokine storm or a cytopic storm. I'm dyslexic, so I sometimes mistake words. So a cytokine storm, and what happens is it's an overproduction of the antibodies in the immune system, and these antibodies which your body produces to fight the illness end up killing the host, killing the person. No virus ever wants to kill the host, but what happens is sometimes the host wants to kill the virus, and it does so by killing the host. Do you understand what I mean?
I think so.
So what happens is your immune system creates these antibodies.
Pretty grim, though, isn't it?
It's pretty grim, but it happens a lot in medicine. Now, what a lot of people have realized, over the course of COVID, and a lot of the research which came out pro cannabis, pro CBD, pro terpenes over COVID has been about immune balance. Okay. And it's been about the fact that like cannabinoids in general are good for balancing the immune system, reducing the function of the immune system, therefore meaning that it doesn't overproduce these antibodies which are going to hurt you. Okay. And
hang on a second. That's quite counterintuitive, isn't it? Because
what do you mean?
What I mean is we're always told, my God, if your immune system goes down, you got about 3.5 minutes and you're going to drop dead, basically.
True.
So
but if your immune
it's
system,
very interesting to hear you say, but if your immune system's doing too much, you've got a bit of a problem on your hands.
Fine, but don't think of your immune system in terms of, let's say, a single gear. All right, where if it's spinning too fast, the gear can break. You have to think of your immune system almost like a 6-speed car. And you're in 4th gear at 4,000 revs, traveling at 130 miles an hour. Knock it into 5th or 6th. It brings your revs right down. You're still traveling at 70 miles an hour. But what happens is your engine is not going to explode. That was an incredible metaphor. Sound clip. All right. So basically, hey Russ. So basically, that's what like CB2 functions are, like immune balancing, and also muscular, like muscular issues. So let's say, for example, you have, or not even just muscular, it's actually muscular and bone. So let's say if you have arthritis, or if you have fibromyalgia, or if you have MS, or if you have any of these ailments which might affect, severe cramps, endometritis. So all of these.
Let me jump in, because following last week's show, where you caused somewhat of a sensation, it has to be said, people were saying, I've been taking this for my cancer, or my sister's been taking this for the cancer she's having. Without it, it would have been just impossible, and thank God we're able to use it. So would you add that into your mix?
So can you repeat that?
Well, all of it. Blimey. What I was saying was that after last week, he's disappeared. After last week's show, a lot of people came on to me and said, look, my sister has been taking all of these CBD products for her cancer, and because of the pain, or because, I've had excruciating back pain for ages.
I'm so sorry.
That's all right. That's okay. And that sort of thing. And it's really, really helped. So what I'm saying is the sort of list of ailments, cancer is a huge one. And it's something we deal with a lot on Men's Radio. Yeah.
I dropped out of the chat for a second because I pushed the wrong button. I do apologize. All right. So that's why I look a bit panicked right there. I just had a little oh my God, what's just happened? All right.
Relax.
So yeah. So you have these, I'm gonna have a little puff on my CBD vape.
There he goes.
So you have these CB2, CB2 receptors located across your body. And if you've got issues like arthritis or fibromyalgia or something which is muscular or bone related, then your best bet is to target your CB2 receptors. Now, this can be done through edibles, or it can be done through topical application. But then it gets a bit deeper. So as I mentioned before, you've got the idea of different forms of arthritis, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, if you've got psoriatic arthritis, what happens is you get skin degradation as well as getting muscular and bone degradation. Okay, so what happens is you have the psoriasis as well as the arthritis. If you were to use one of the balms which I actually create for a warming sort of sensation, which a lot of arthritis patients use, it could actually cause a lot of detriment for someone who has psoriatic arthritis, because there's ingredients in there like lavender and rosemary and thyme and black pepper, and they can actually cause aggravation to skin which is damaged. And it's important for you to know that just because you understand what your receptor is, the product also needs to be specific. So take, for example, the balms I create for CB2 application. You've got heated balms and cooling balms, all right? It's like a 1% change in ingredient changes the product completely. The heated balms are warming. They're very good for like bone issues. And the cooling balms are terrible for bone issues, but they're good for like muscular issues. And it's kind of important to know when you're walking into a shop and buying a CBD product, whether it's a topical or an edible, that also the other ingredients in that product complement your ailment, because that's what's happened now. It's not just a CBD balm anymore. where it's a simple balm without a smell, which is just made to have CBD applied to the skin. Everything's created with a purpose. So you have all these products on the marketplace, which are all just a little bit more complicated than they need to be, you know. And what happens is users are left in the dark. I know this because I do it every so often. I walk into shops and I'll just go and play the game. You know, I'll walk into a shop and I'll be like, hi, how you doing? I suffer, you know, can you help me? You know, what do you have available?
Do they actually? Here's the thing, because I've never done that. But here's the thing, and tell us with your experience. Do they actually know what the heck they're talking about, or they're making it
fine.
up?
So there are some people.
Do they have any training?
Some people really do. Okay, there are some fantastic shop owners out there. So, like I mentioned before, there's a shop up in Bristol called Only Green, and they know their stuff in there. As in, they're smart. They educate themselves. They go out of their way to learn more, to be able to provide more to their end user. You know, to be able to provide this little bit of understanding, which a lot of you will be getting from me, but a lot of you don't know where to find. You know, it's that understanding which is imperative to the end user. But then you walk into a lot of shops which are basically resellers. They're buying a product without knowing what it is and selling a product without knowing what it is. And they're like vanity products. So it's a product designed to taste good. It's a product designed to, you know, to look good. It's a product which is packaged well and designed to be attractive, as opposed to designed to be effective.
It's a bit like perfume. If you wandered into Selfridges or something and you think, oh, that box looks nice, or that container looks nice. Is that the same deal?
Yeah. So basically, a lot of people have adopted the Tom Ford model. You know, if it smells good and it looks well presented, people will pay more for it. But it's unfortunate. The unfortunate case is a lot of the end users who actually need CBD, not the fashion users, not people who use it for vanity reasons. The people who actually use it for sanity reasons are left in the dark. They're left they're left losing. Because what happens is you have someone like yourself will walk into a shop and they'll end up buying a 500 milligram 30 ml tincture with echinacea. Why? Because echinacea is very good for you. But echinacea is uplifting. No, but echinacea is uplifting. But for what? But for what?
Oh, when people used to say, right, we go off the piece for a second here. When people used to say, oh, you know, when I was in theatre a billion years ago, they'd say, oh, you got a cold, got to have echinacea. And I thought, well, all right, okay, I'll give it a go. Rubbish. Didn't do anything for me at all. Still have the cold.
Fine. Now, I've worked out that when I take echinacea, I need to take like 200 milligrams. And I need to mix it with loads of other ingredients and loads of other extracts. Now, so start of COVID, I created a product. My girlfriend's dad has leukemia, and I was a little bit, I was worried for him. So I did a bit of research on immune balancing, because I heard about this this cytokine cytotoxic storm, and I was like, you know what? God forbid, just want to have his immune system balanced. So what I did, I created something with moringa and ginseng and echinacea and black seed and curcumin oils and a very large dose of CBD in a locally sourced honey. And like, well, they were taking it every single day. My girlfriend's parents were taking it every single day. Now, I gave this to 5 or 6 people who are actually suffering with COVID. All right, who are actually, I mean, like horrible coughs and in bed and just gone. Yeah. I'm not saying it cured them, because it didn't. But I'm saying when I saw them a week later, they were fine. And their sense of taste came back. Like, it was like literally astonishing. Now, I don't think it's going to work for anyone else. I just think I got lucky. But I mean, like, these guys were in bad ways, and now they're not.
But Ollie, what? That's extraordinary, because anyone I know who's been really unlucky enough to get this wretched COVID, if they don't get long COVID, it's a hell of a good result for them. It's just taking weeks or months to get over, and they still feel terrible.
Bear in mind,
if you've done this in a week.
No, but it's not like a week from diagnosis. It was like I saw them a week. So like they've been ill for 2 months or whatever they've been ill for. Then I saw them, or like a month or however long they've been ill for. And then I saw them on a Monday. And then the next Monday I saw them again, and they were absolutely fine. And I was like, by the way, where's your cough?
Explain to me, because I don't know if you're being self-depreciatory or what, but you say, well, I got lucky.
Yeah, I got lucky. Because that's the whole thing. Because this whole industry, unfortunately, it's all at this moment of time, it's like a roll of a dice. You know, I can't turn around and say that is what I say it is, because it might not be. Maybe I just got lucky. Maybe it was just fluke. Maybe the 5 people I gave it to were on the hill. Okay, but I mean, these compounds do something, and it's very important to know that, let's say for example, you needed to sleep, that honey would have been useless for you. So it's more about understanding what goes into the product than whether or not the product actually worked. Do you know what I mean? I don't really want to sit there and be like, I'm, you know, that dude who could do everything. I like that I might have just got lucky. I think it was just fluke. That's the honest truth. I literally think I fluked it. But it's definitely helped people. Now, we're not pushing it out. We're not making claims about it. I will make it for someone if they need it. I've got the math. I've got the recipe, and I'd stick to it. But it's like this addition of different compounds. It's about understanding what's actually in that product and what that product should actually do for you. And that's what I find we lose a lot. You know, and what happens is people know now that, you know, they know where their pain is, but it's about understanding the other ingredients which go into the product around that pain. You know,
now, for example, Ollie, we've got one of our biggest listeners, Andrea Lucas, who's just said, my daughter has it, these are CBD oils, for her Crohn's disease, as does my son's girlfriend. Well, sorry, Andrea, that's rotten luck, and just horrible. It's absolutely horrible. It's a horrible thing to have. So would you be, I mean, I'm not putting you on the spot in the least. I'm just using this as an example. If somebody came to you and said, look, I've got Crohn's disease, you would then go about thinking, what would you do? Have an interview with them, a chat?
So actually, no, I wouldn't. So like I actually don't do that. Actually, to be honest with you, in around 5 weeks' time, we've got a kid coming on. One of my just a buddy I know from around, and he's actually a medical cannabis patient in the UK, and he has Crohn's. So I'll be honest with you, we've got an episode which is going to be for Crohn's.
Andrew, tune in for that.
Let me just say one thing. I would really like him to kind of explain that. You know, I've actually, in all honesty, I've never had anyone come to me with Crohn's. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've never actually, like a lot of what I do is more like understanding your receptors and, you know, understanding, you know, pain management and trial and error. So I don't really feel comfortable saying, take this, but what I can do is I'm very happy to send you a few samples. If they help, we'll know if it works. If it doesn't help, we can play around. I love this, you know, like this is like my playtime. You know, when someone says to me, hey, I've got a problem to fix, I'm like, yeah, cool. I'm going to my lab. See you in 3 days. You know, like this is my my candy shop. Do you know what I mean? So like, I would love to play, but I'm just saying there's no promises, you know, like, and the problem is that God forbid I make your daughter's Crohn's worse. I mean, that's going to be freaking terrible. Crohn's is a very strange one. The one thing I do know about Crohn's is people with Crohn's can't really digest food properly. Now, the issue with most cannabis oils, most CBD oils, is that they're all made in fat. Okay, so it's all fat. It's like coconut oil is a fat, and hemp oil is a fat, and these are all oils are very fatty. That's what they are. Oils are fats, and fats are not digested well by people with Crohn's. So a lot of the time, people who take, cannabinoids for Crohn's will be taking it in other forms. So they'll either be using things like special carrier technologies, like a protein-based CBD powder, or, you know, I would say try application to the belly button. You know, I've seen a lot of I've seen some fantastic things, and you know, I've seen fantastic things mentally with the belly button. I've never played that game with. I've never really played that game with Crohn's, but I mean, try it. It's like right there. I mean, it's like you can't really get closer to the area of pain than the belly button. I mean, so if it's going to kind of get absorbed into your bloodstream, and it can get to the stomach theoretically without digestion. So I would actually say if she does use CBD oil, take a couple of drops, especially if they're flavorless and sugarless, because the unfortunate thing about sugars cause imbalances, and your belly button is actually quite a sensitive, what do you use the word ecosystem, but that's not the right word. Do you know what I mean? There's a sensitive, there's a sensitive balance. There's a sensitive balance.
I think you could just say it's sensitive. You know, Sandra Brady's just come on and said this, and this is a big slap on the back for you. Very, very true. The special honey which Oliver made is amazing. We take it every single day, and our immune system is so good. Also help with Chris's leukemia. Can't get better than that. Can't get better than that.
I love you, Sandra. You're a legend. Glad I can help
That's a
you
beautiful.
guys.
But that's a beautiful
I know.
thing, isn't it? That's an
Do
amazing
you know how much
thing.
I screamed at him to take it? Because basically, Chris was told, don't take any CBD. And I was like, Chris, there's two options. You take this, or I never speak to you again. And he goes, why? I go, because I've got one opportunity to try and help you. I want to help you before I actually need to help you. And I never ask you for anything. So just do it. It's very important you just do it. Have I sworn yet today?
No, I wish you hadn't brought that up. No, we got within 4 minutes last week, and I was really impressed.
I've just
thought,
like, did I
so
swear?
Exciting to me. This is my version of Radio Russian Roulette. It's fantastic. I never know when the bullet's going to go off.
That's it. There are certain words.
I feel like Christopher Walken in The Deer Hunter.
I like Christopher Walken. I really like him.
Yeah. Now, your
He's got an incredible voice. Do you not think Christopher Walken in what's it called? What's the word? What film? True Romance. Do you not think that was like one of his best roles?
I love it. I love everything that he does.
I loved him in True Romance. I think it was incredible.
We're not here, but this isn't. We can talk about movies on the Friday show with Chantal Rickard.
Next show.
What's in your pen? Your smoking thing.
Which one?
People will be asking, and I won't be able to tell them. I haven't a clue.
Fine. So this is a show you. So this is a CBD vape pen. All right. It's actually the same stuff I made last week, but last week my pen broke on me, so I put it into a pod system. It's a 40% distillate vape liquid. All right, with a 6% tropical flavor over a 2% Bubba Kush terpene extract.
I was going to say that. What he said. Okay, we shouldn't ask now. Unbelievable. And what does that do? What does it? I'm just curious. I know you're getting into the whole CB, the receptors and everything, but people like to know the nitty gritty of these things. For you,
perfect. I love this.
For you, what does it do when you take?
So it has a very high dose of CBD. Okay, a high concentration. So every puff must be about, I would say, 2 milligrams. I think you get 200 puffs of each of each pen. 200 puffs of a pen, 400 milligrams. So 1 mil cartridge, 400 milligrams, around 2 milligrams a puff. Now, the thing is when you inhale into your lungs are actually, so bioavailability, I mentioned this word before at the start of the show. Bioavailability is how much of a compound your body can actually absorb. So let's say you take a capsule, you eat a CBD pill, all right? That CBD pill passes through digestion. Your body would probably absorb 30% of it, maybe 35, 40 if you've got awesome digestion. If you're someone like who suffers with Crohn's, you might not digest 7% of it. And that's what happens. So you lose a lot. When you're vaping, it goes straight into your lungs and it gets absorbed straight into your bloodstream. So let's say
you're inhaling.
I'm inhaling.
Okay.
You inhale and then you exhale. Now, let's say you exhale minus absorption, 55, 60% of what you inhale. You've still got like a 40% bioavailability. But what happens is because it goes straight into your lungs and goes straight into your bloodstream, it goes straight to the receptors before passing through digestion. So there's not a 2-hour process before it goes into your body. So what happens is it's much faster activation of the cannabinoids you're taking. So a lot of the time, why a lot of people will always say, I need to smoke cannabis, or I need to smoke like people like to ingest their cannabis through smoking, is because the effect is instantaneous. And that is why like a lot of the culture around medicinal cannabis is smoking. But if you know that you've got an issue and you can almost get in front of it, so before your issue strikes, you've kind of mended the problem, then what happens is you can start to almost target your issues using different means. So what happens is the pain smoker, the person who smokes because he's in pain in his back, if he realizes that he could take a capsule like the night before he goes to sleep, and when he wakes up in the morning, his pain's gone. Or he can use like a water-soluble tech, which has quite fast bioavailability. And then he can use a capsule. So what happens is the first 15 minutes he's in pain, water-soluble tech kicks in, water-soluble carrier tech kicks in. 2 hours later, the capsule kicks in. He doesn't need to smoke. So what happens is what I try and do is I try and find ways around destroying your lungs. Even though I am a smoker and a vapor, I'm not actually pro it. There's nothing good about giving a 65-year-old woman who's never smoked before something to smoke, because what happens is that's the fear. The fear is creating a necessity around doing something you don't want to do. So you've got individuals who are scared of this cannabis market because they know that they don't want to smoke cannabis. But what happens is you introduce that grandmother who's anti-cannabis to a balm that can take away her arthritis in moments. What happens is she becomes a pro-cannabis, pro-cannabinoid, pro-CBD user. A lot of people across, the world have found their solace in products which are designed for a purpose as opposed to just a cannabis plant. And that's kind of why I'm trying to stay away from any form of smoking or any form of, illegal discussion, because it's not necessary. And a lot of people don't realize that. They don't realize that, you can actually get the same benefit through a different means. Application means everything. And a lot of people don't get that. And that's what we're here to do. And we got 10 minutes. It's a good time for some. Any questions?
From me? No, I'm just
from
fascinated.
them.
I'm just fascinated. Absolutely from them, from our listeners, as we like to call them. You've been joined by Spain now. So we've got Spain, Germany, Canada, California, Britain, all over the place.
Not bad at all.
And I'm really, really very, very excited about it. I'm very, very excited about it. If you do have any questions, just write your comments now, and Ollie will answer them straight away. It's just the way we work. That's the beauty of men's radio, that it's instantaneous response. You don't have to go through umpteen desks. Then people decide if they're going to put you through or not. You're here. We see you. We talk to you straight off.
So there's a big thing which I've seen actually coming out recently. There's a few brands who have come to market. What happens is tongue drops seem to be quite everyone seems to be kind of in line. People are making mathematically accurate products, and a lot of people are being quite true with their information. It's just about understanding which tongue drop is right for you, and really educate yourself on other ingredients. And if you guys want to send me your bottles over the next week, I'll literally spend next week just dissecting what each bottle does and what it's actually made to do. I'll dissect how many milligrams are in each drop. I'll tell you exactly what the other ingredients in there are supposed to do and whether or not it's a multi-purpose product. I'm really, really happy to kind of, help you guys in any way I can, just to kind of break this down. Because I know, once again, I've rambled today for 50 minutes, and some of you might still feel lost.
No, you haven't rambled at all.
I don't want you guys to feel lost. I've been in your position. I've been there before, where I just didn't know where to turn, and it's the worst thing in the world. And what I realized is very often I was going based on the words of others. And it's what I said earlier is, you have, but he said this, or my doctor told me that, or I was advised to do this. But at the end of the day, all of those people are not living in your head. They're not living in your body. And what happens is like with a lot of modern medicine, people are left in the dark. Your doctor turns around and says, you look like you're doing great. But he's not there with you at nights when you've got your sweats and you're sitting there and you don't want to go downstairs to watch TV with your loved ones. Why? Because you're just in so much pain. You're terrified. You're just going to break down in front of them or lose yourself. Like, the doctors and the friends around you aren't you. And I hate it. What I've heard a lot is you shouldn't be taking that much CBD. It's dangerous. Not in a rude way. If you take 1.4 liters of morphine a month, it's also dangerous. But doctors will very happily prescribe that to you. But you know what? If you take 100 milligrams of CBD, you're in bad territory. It's important for you to know this is your journey, it's your life, it's your body, and you have to make the decision for you. I'm just here as a guide. I'm here as a guide.
You asked for questions, so here's your first question, but it'll set you off. I know how you are. It's from Chrissy Holt, who lives in the middle of Spain on a farm with her tractor. I'm not kidding. And it's you're so international. I want to get oil, please. Kiss, kiss. This is to you, Mr. Heartthrob. I use cream on my knee. Well, you'd have to explain to Ollie kind of what the cream is, what your problem with your knee is, etc. Am I kind of right?
Yeah, I digested the jelly bean edible for sleep. Wasn't strong enough. Took 2, but affected digestion. Made me feel.
Oh, this is coming in from Santa Monica, California. This is Gloria Miller.
Gloria, were you eating a cannabis-infused edible, like a THC edible? Or was it a CBD edible?
Well, she'll come back.
Yeah, P.S. Where I live, you can buy cannabis legally. Fine. So the issue is with edibles, okay, is that edibles are made unfortunately, they're made for recreation. There is this belief, because there was a company who brought out a hair gummy and they made a couple of million quid. That gummies are now like medicine, and they make gummies for kids as medicine. But gummies in America, CBD. Okay, fine. So it's a CBD jelly bean. Now we sell gummies, we sell jellies. I actually don't eat them. I won't take a gummy. I think it's counterintuitive. The whole idea of eating candy to help yourself doesn't really benefit me. And the fact of the matter is You know, how much CBD could you have in a gummy if you've got to eat 200 grams of sugar in order to get some pain relief? By the time you've, you know, like 3 months down the line, you've put on 15 kilos. It's just insanity. You know what I mean? Like, it's not healthy. Now, I understand gummies are easy and you can keep them in your purse, but or your wallet or in your bag or wherever, you know, like, I understand that they're easily accessible. But the issue is with gummies is gummies are, like I said, they're counterintuitive. And I've always been, you know, of that thought that, you know, a CBD product needs to be straight to the point. You know, that's why I keep on mentioning the Tincture Club, because it's multi-purpose. You know, you can uses arthritis cannabis cream. Okay, your cannabis cream is used for arthritis. Is it a menthol or is it a lavendery peppermint? Because if it's a menthol, it could actually cause your bones to get colder. You know, menthol's got a cooling effect, which could actually cause further detriment. If not, it could cause you. It could cause you satisfaction, but I mean, I've always found with people with arthritis, they always go for the warming over the cooling products, and they always have more satisfaction from it. I did have oil, but can't get near me anymore. The oil was better than the cream. Yeah, I would understand that. Also, it depends on where your arthritis is. You know, if you've got arthritis literally everywhere, it must be really hard to smother yourself and smear yourself with cream all day long. Yeah. I always say it's like going into war. All right, when you go to war, when you go to battle, all right, I've never been to war. I think I would actually be rubbish in war. But when you go to war,
I don't know. I think you'd be
I could be in the kitchens. I can make CBD products for everyone. That would be so cool.
What more do you want?
So when you go to war, you have the Air Force, you have the infantry, you have the Navy, and basically what happens is you go and attack a country from all sides. All right, you want to make sure that like you've smothered them. The same sort of thing. So like when you're targeting your arthritis, I would say use drops, because, you know, the drops get to your CB2 receptors, you know, like your stomach and whatever your body is your CB2 receptors. And then also use the cream. But what I would say with the cream is think about where your pain is. Think about this body map of you. And if you've got pain in your wrists, okay, apply to your wrist, to your elbow, okay, and the inside, the thin permeable area of skin, and apply to the top of your collarbone as well. So what happens is you're covering the entire line of receptors.
I see where you're going with that.
Pain's going up and down. Pain's never stagnant. Pain is always moving. You speak to someone with sciatic pain, they're like, oh yeah, starts in my knee, works up to my hip, goes shooting up my spine, into my neck, back down, all the way to my foot. And what happens is you end up with half a man and half another man, because they've just fallen to pieces. I've got a buddy of mine, Jason. He's got sciatic issues. And I said to him, apply the balm on all your meridians, on all your pressure points, sole of your feet, back of your knee, inside of your hip, outside of your hip. If you can put it on your groin without a tingling sensation, put it there as well. Just cover all the receptors. So what happens is wherever your pain is, or wherever you think your pain is, it's going to be targeted. Also apply some drops to your belly button. Once again, make sure there are no flavorings. Make sure there are no additional sweeteners or anything in your drops, because they can cause a serious funk down there. Okay, so you don't want to be doing that. And then also, take a large dose of drops. You know, what I love
about this, Ollie? I love you're giving simultaneously advice to Santa Monica, California, and to Spain. That's the magic of radio, isn't it?
I love the fact that she's in California. And I'm not saying it's about it, but you're in California. So California started 25 years ago.
By the way,
no, but 25 years ago they started in America. Okay, so we are a quarter of a century behind them. I love the fact that you've tuned into me for advice. I mean, I'm so flattered. I mean, for anyone from America to literally want to listen to me, I mean, literally, you're giving me like the butterflies in my tummy. I mean, seriously, I'm not even joking.
That's what my glorious day now.
Like
Chrissy Holt's making a point. When I use it, this is the cream, it burns and gets hot. I only use it on my knee, but I have arthritis in all my body. Over to you.
Fine. So the thing is with the creams, okay, a lot of the time what they'll do is they'll overuse camphor. It's like the what I like to call the deep heat generation, this deep heat, deep freeze generation, where you've got a product which is 65% essential oils. You don't need to cause yourself discomfort. Now, don't get me wrong. Like, the heat is good because it distracts you from the pain. But there's no way in hell you can walk around feeling like a ball of fire. It can't work. So what you need to do is almost, I would say, go for a more natural product. Okay, maybe something which isn't so chemically formulated. Look at the back of the ingredients. If the ingredients are edible, then go for that sort of product. Usually they'll use a lower percentage of essential oils, because it just, like what's it called? Natural ingredients can sometimes degrade with large percentages of essential oils. So what I'm saying is they kind of make them more balanced, and it's
I got 40 seconds. So again, you cause a sensation. If people want to get hold of you, how do they do it?
How do they get hold of me? So once again, please contact me on Facebook. Okay, contact me on LinkedIn. Send me email, oliver@taylormammon.com. I just want to chat to you guys. And
That's
by the way,
Taylor, let me do that slowly because people are going, what did he say? What did he say? It's at Oliver@Taylor, TAYLOR, Mammon. You can see MAMMON.com. Wow, that's it. We're out of time. Ollie, God
that
bless
was
you.
so quick.
You've been great. And thank you, everybody, all over the world. It's a blast. Thank you so much for joining us.
God
I'm
bless
Russ
you,
Kane.
guys. Thank you
He's
so
the
much for the
amazing
opportunity.
Ollie Mammon. He'll be back in a week's time. Okay, take care.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.